SEOguru.net. I'm here to show you a little bit about custom commands and functions, as well as using the parameters. Now there's a lot of confusion with the parameters because there's not very much information, but hopefully we can clear that up today. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use Google as our testing environment. And I like to use the search bar quite a bit, but you'll also be able to find these underneath different settings here on the left for the define commands. So let's just start in with a define. First thing that will come up here is you're going to want to name it. We're going to name this Google. And we're going to leave this as a command with no parameters. First thing we want to do inside this command is go to Google. Once we've gone to Google, we're going to want to type something into this. So we're going to go ahead and drag this over, and we'll just put SEO marketing. Once we have that, we're going to want to search it. So we can go ahead and click on our search button here. And for those of you that don't know, when you drag this over, notice how this has this offset. Well, say for instance I wanted to change what I'm choosing by. Click on this little purple wheel here, and it brings up this. You can choose the attribute for which you want to select, and we're going to go with the name, which is this BTNG. Pulls in here, exact match, click add. Now if we were putting in wildcards there for whatever reason, we could choose those here and then click add. But we'll go ahead and go with this. Click OK. And the way that you run this is that underneath your custom commands here, you see that I've got one named Google now. All you do is you just drag that in, and that will be able to be played. Define commands on their own won't play anything. As you see here, we don't have that play button there anymore, so when we run this, it does absolutely nothing. We drag this in there. Now it'll navigate, put it in there, and hit submit. You see it came right up. Now, say for instance we wanted to use parameters inside this define command. Now, what we'll do is we'll edit this, and here's our define command, and we're going to put in keyword. And maybe we'll use keyword too. So now that we've got two different parameters here, let's click OK. We see they're right here. Inside this area here for type text, we're going to use this. And instead of manually typing it in, we'll go ahead and go with keyword space keyword 2. So now that we have both our parameters listed in here, we have to be able to set these variables inside of our define command when they're being passed. So let's go ahead and set these. Set keyword equals keyword, and set our other keyword here. Set keyword 2 equals keyword 2. This allows for the parameters to be passed to variables that we could then use. So when we drag in our command now, we see it's got these areas that we could fill in the information for this. So we'll put SEO marketing. Click OK, and now these are our parameters that we're passing to this define command that we then set to variables for use in our search. So now when we run this, we see that it inserted the SEO marketing just as we needed it to. Now on to defining a function. A function is something that when used will give you a result or something that you're looking for. Okay, so we're going to drag in another define command. We'll name this one get results. We'll change it to a function. Click OK. Inside this function, you would basically return results. So what we're going to do is use the return, and in here we'll just place a simple randomize. We'll put 1,000 and 1,000,000. Hit enter or hit OK. Now one thing to notate is that functions must come before they're actually used. So we're going to make a set command down here, and we'll call this results. And from our custom functions right here, we see that this defined function is labeled right here. We'll drag that in here to our results variable, hit OK, and then we'll just set a UI stat monitor. And what we'll monitor is the variable results. Click OK. We see it right here. So now when we run this, we see it populates the results that's being set inside our results variable. And it's going to return whatever value is returned inside this function. Now this could be pretty much anything. We could remove this, and we could say return scrape attribute, and we'll put this to this footer. We'll say inner text. Click OK, and when we run it, see how it returns the scrape text. So this is a way of how you use functions. Now, one thing to keep in mind, let's see here, let's open our debugger, clear our variables, and move this up top. Now notice that the function is now beneath where we're using it. So when we run it, it's going to go ahead and pull it. Normally your function always must be above where you're using it. If it ever does not fill its data, that's because it needs to be defined above where you use it. Now, in some cases like this, I've seen it pull it, but that's after we've been able to run it. And this will not, in all cases, be the fact. It's always best to have your functions above where you're going to be using them. That way the function is defined before it's actually being used. If you happen to have any questions, feel free to email us at admin@botguru.net, or you can contact Lowrider TJ on the Ubot Studio forums. Thank you.